What's up? Welcome back. This is a tutorial on how to solder. In my previous video, I tried to make an electronic decision maker and I failed. So we're gonna give it another shot. I'll leave the description for this down below. Inside of here is gonna be your instructions. We have all of our pieces. Pieces are gonna be soldered onto the board. Our power source is the board. Let's get started. Soldering iron right here. It's just a basic weller. I like to test it touching the sponge. If there's a slight sizzle, that means that it's ready to go. So I have a few tools here whenever I solder. So this is basically the first tool that I use. It's got this like rigid little scraper. I use that to fling off any excess solder. And then of course I have my solder. This one is Delta. It is important to make sure that you use lead free. It's super flexible, so it's like easy to manipulate the shape. Take my solder and pull it around my finger so I have better control. First step is to apply the resistors. We label the resistors with the letter R on the board up here, right here. That's gonna be where the first resistor goes. Use the colors on the resistors to identify which one is which. And back at the directions, R1 and R2. And then next to that, it has the description brown, black, and yellow. I'm gonna take the first resistor here. So I'm gonna put the brown one on the board closest to the R. Kind of the whole finesse behind soldering is being able to anticipate how hot the piece has to be without burning the component. Solder melts at a specific temperature, so if the environment isn't that temperature, it's not gonna melt onto. If you can get that down, you're basically an expert. So put on resistor number 2. We have our brown, black, yellow one. And we're gonna stick that on R2. 2 is right here, brown, black, yellow. I'm starting to get this build up onto my tip. That's what this is for. I simply just like brush all of that off. That's gonna prevent the tip itself from like oxidizing, because what happens is the solder will get stuck on there and then the heat will get trapped under the solder onto the tip, causing it to like do a bunch of shit that I can't explain. I'm gonna move on to the rest of the resistors. We have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we have the descriptions next to them. I'm gonna go ahead and put all of them on there. Now that we have all the resistors on there, I'm gonna take some pliers and I'm just gonna cut off all of the excess wiring. Whenever I allow the board to heat up and then apply the solder, I have an easier time. Now that we're done, these are what our solder pieces look like. They're not too bad. Step number 2 is attaching a diode, emphasizing the little stripe on the piece. This is what that piece is gonna look like. That gray stripe right there is gonna be the one that they were showing us. So if we go to D1, we wanna match up this gray line. The next step is gonna be to add the IC socket. That's gonna be this piece right here. It's got these pins. There's a curve on this piece right here, and you wanna make sure that you add it up with the curve on the board. Now when I solder this piece on, I'm not doing them simultaneously in the order of the row because they're kind of like really close together and I don't want to burn the circuit or overheat the component. Alright, this is what she looks like. Next we're going to put in the push button. Now we're gonna do the LEDs. They're telling you that the shorter end of the LED is gonna go into the shaded area. Starting with the green, notice there is a shorter side and we're gonna put it in the shaded area. Also gonna stick the red one in at the same time. Alright, next we're gonna do step 6. So I have 2 transistors. Notice at the bottom they list that transistor 1 is gonna be BC557 and transistor 2 is gonna be BC547. So there's like, I can't focus it. There's like this tiny writing on there, but that's what you're gonna use to identify as BC557. I'm matching the shape of the piece to the shape on the board. For step number 7, we're gonna do the same thing. You'll notice that our capacitors also have 2 different sizes, 22 UF. So that's how we identify that it's the right one. We wanna make sure that the longer end goes into the side with the plus. The next step we have here is to apply the IC into the IC socket. It has these pins on it and also this little curve. We want to make sure that curve matches up with the curve that we put on there earlier. Got it in there like as best as I could. Last step, we're going to attach our power source. I'm just going to strip some of this wire back. Alright, the label on the board for you, black and red, stick it through and then wrap it around. Once we have that, I'm just gonna solder it a little bit. Alright, so we got a battery in, and we're gonna turn on. Sweet, so we have our decision maker. She works, you ask it a question, you press the button, thinks on it for a second, slows down, and then it picks one for you. I think these soldering projects are a really fun way to learn. Thank you for watching. I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, suggestions, let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.